Entrepreneurs, how are you guys doing today? I am doing all right. This weekend was busy. I went away to Virginia Beach and with my family. So we were out there for just 2 days. It was pretty nice. I would never move to Virginia Beach, but I do appreciate visiting family. I went to go see my brother. He just had a baby, so I was pretty excited about that. Now we're back home, back to business, back to everything. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about forming a corporation. For those who are interested in forming a corporation. And so a corporation is a legal entity that is separate from its owners, which can protect you from any business liabilities and help get your business off the ground. Now, what we can start with, we're going to choose a business name. So that will be number one. Now, an important first step will be to start a corporation is selecting your business name, and in most cases, you need to include a corporation designation or a word that identifies your business as a corporation. So, examples of a corporate designation includes incorporated, meaning abbreviated as Inc., incorporation, which is abbreviated as CO. Now, when choosing a corporate name, you should also be sure that your name or of choice doesn't infringe on an existing trademarks. So a trademark search can be helpful when you ensure that your name is available to you. So it is also a good idea to check your state's list of restricted words. And this list includes words that are off limits for use in your business name. So examples include bank and insurance. So certain words are prohibited unless you are legally allowed to run your business as such by the respective government agency. So to ensure that your name is legally available, check your state Secretary of State office. Okay, and the next step will be to register a DBA. Now, a DBA is doing business as. Okay, and if you want to do business under a name that is different from the corporation name you've chosen, you may need to register a fictitious name. So this allows you to keep the identity of your corporation separate from your business name. Now, a fictitious name may also be known as doing business as, which is a DBA, assumed name, or trade name. Now, depending on where you're located, the laws surrounding DBA names can vary. Be sure to check your state secretary of office to ensure your DBA name meets all legal guidelines. Now, another thing you want to do is appoint directors, and when performing a corporation, the owners will often appoint directors. Now, the owners can appoint themselves and or others to be directors, and a director's responsibility will include governing the corporation, managing the corporation's business and affairs, electing corporate officers, attending corporate meetings. So the number of directors needed will depend on the laws and guidelines of your state and could also depend on the number of owners your corporation has. All right. And also you need to file your articles of incorporation. So that will include the name and address of the corporation, the purpose of the corporation, the name and address of the registered agent, and the type and number of shares of stock to be issued. The registered agent is the contact person listing for your corporation. They will receive service of process, notices, government correspondence, and compliance related documents on behalf of your corporation. And depending on your state, articles of incorporation may be called the certificate of formation or certificate of incorporation. Okay, and next you will need to write your corporate bylaws. Another important step is writing corporate bylaws. So the bylaws are written rules that determine how your corporation will be governed. Now, the corporate bylaws typically cover things like how many shares of stock your corporation can issue, how many directors are required, meeting and record keeping procedures. Although these bylaws are not required to be filed with the state, it is an important part of the incorporation process. It can be helpful to reach out for legal assistance when writing corporate bylaws to make sure nothing slips through the cracks. All right, and the next step will be to draft a shareholder agreement. Now, when you draft a shareholder agreement, you will help protect the interests of any remaining shareholders in case certain events take place. This agreement will be used in the event of any owner's death. If an owner's transfer ownership of their shares while optional, a shareholder agreement is a great document to have in an unexpected event. If needed, a business attorney can help you draft this document. Okay. And also, you will need to hold initial board of directors meeting. Know how many directors your corporation has. Now, it's important to hold an initial meeting with your entire board of directors. Without an initial meeting, the board might lack direction and clarification that enables them to make clear decisions about the corporation. So an initial board of directors meeting should cover adoption of corporate laws, bylaws. So it should include, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. It should include adoption of corporate bylaws, appointment of corporate officers, authorizations to issue stock, and additionally, if you wish to elect the S corporation status, you should also include this as the initial meeting and gain approval. Also, as far as the issue stock, this will be a stock that is used to help finance the corporation, and after the board of directors has authorized the issuance of stock, you may begin issuing and distributing stock to investors. Okay, and when issuing stock, it is important to record who purchased the shares, how many shares they bought, how much the shares cost, and when they bought the shares, stock is typically issued as a physical certificate or in the form of digital shares. Also, obtain business permits and licenses. Before you can start doing business as a corporation, it is also important that you obtain all of the required business permits and licenses. The permits and licenses requires will depend on your city and county laws, the state and government and federal laws, and your specific industry. So as you begin the application process, check out your state-specific requirements on the Small Business Administration website. All right, and also register your business. That's very important. That should be probably the number one thing to do. And because corporations are separate tax-paying entities, you will need to obtain a specific tax ID number to ensure you are paying appropriate taxes. You will likely need tax ID numbers from the Internal Revenue Services, which is the IRS IRS, your state revenue agency, and depending on the state you're doing business in and your corporation type, the taxation your corporations could face will vary. For the most up-to-date information about the taxation of corporations, you can visit the IRS website. Also, open up a corporate bank account. A crucial step in forming a corporation is opening a corporate bank account. This account will be separate from the bank account of its owners, which helps protect your personal funds from any business liabilities. LegalZoom works with Bank of America to help our customers open business checking accounts. Be sure to check with the bank you choose to see what documents you will be required. Examples of required documents and information includes corporate resolution, articles of incorporation, employer identification number, which is your EIN. And if you're unsure what your corporation EIN is, you can obtain it from the IRS. Always try to keep that handy, because if you misplace that EIN number, it seems to be a hassle with trying to obtain it back. And trust me, I've been there, done that. So now another thing that you want to do is you definitely want to check your state for the corporate laws, and you want to make sure that you are up to date on that. And also, when you're forming a corporation, there is a state-by-state guide for different states like California, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, New York, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, etc. They have different laws, so you may want to check them out because every state is different, okay? Now that was the information on starting your corporation. I hope that the information that was given was beneficial, it was helpful, and thank you so much again for your support. It is truly appreciated. I love you guys. You are great. You are wonderful. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and turn on your notifications. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. So thank you again for your support, and I do appreciate you. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.